Right now at 5, the state of Missouri requests an execution date for a man convicted of raping and killing a child in Newton County.
And with these cool temperatures, we are still in a frost advisory until 8 a.m.
Plus, residents of a burned Joplin apartment building find shelter during their recovery.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
It is finally Friday here in the 4 states. It started as kind of a bumpy ride with the weather. Turned out to be a beautiful week and a beautiful weekend ahead of us.
We did start off a little bit cooler yesterday and today, but we're warming up quite a bit today. Starting right now out in Joplin, it's about 36 degrees and the surrounding counties still in the 30s as well, but good visibility and the wind chills still in about the same temperature because we don't really have many fast winds going on today, which is a good thing. Yesterday was a bit cooler than what we wanted. Now, you can still see in some of our northern counties, Iola 32, Stockton 33, we're near freezing, and that is going to contribute to that frost advisory that we have today. Now, starting off in the morning, these wind chills are a little bit chillier, but as we get warmer throughout the day, they're going to warm up quite a bit. We have more counties under that frost advisory now, out in central counties in Kansas, and as well as all our counties in Missouri. This is still in effect until 8 a.m. today, with the main frost development starting about right now all the way until 8 a.m. So when you're getting off, going to work and school, you'll see some frost on the grass out there. Some clouds here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be a really gorgeous day ahead. We're warming up to the upper 60s across the region, maybe even hitting the 70s. Now, we'll talk more about the nicer temperatures and the storms that we've got coming up this weekend in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, Thursday afternoon, a rollover crash occurred on Ibex Road near Kentucky Road, northwest of Neosho. Newton County coroner pronounced George Owens, 57, of Neosho on scene. Missouri State Highway Patrol troopers investigating the crash say the Ford F-150 left the road to the right, overcorrected, and overturned through a fence into a field. Missouri Attorney General requests an execution date for a convicted child killer in southwest Missouri. 16 years after the death of Rowan Ford, the AG's office takes steps to move forward with the execution of Christopher Collings. In November 2007, Collings abducted, raped, and murdered 9-year-old Rowan Ford from Stella, Missouri in Newton County. He later threw her body in a sinkhole known as the Fox Cave near Powell, Missouri in McDonald County. Court records show Collings burned the rope he used to strangle Ford, the blood-stained clothing he wore during the attack, and his blood-stained mattress. Collings eventually confessed to authorities. In 2012, a jury from Plate County in a courtroom in Phelps County convicted Collings and sentenced him to death. Ford's stepfather, David Spears, was also charged with murder and rape, but pleaded guilty to reduced charges of child endangerment and hindering prosecution. Authorities in Pittsburgh charge a man they say broke into a home armed with a knife. It happened Wednesday around 5:15 in the 900 block of East 8th Street. Police responded to a call about a man breaking into a home. When they arrived, the homeowner was outside and told them the suspect was inside. Officers went in and arrested 25-year-old Zach Camplin of Pittsburgh. He's charged with aggravated assault, criminal threat, and criminal damage to property. Community members yesterday came together at the Fort Scott National Cemetery to recognize and remember those who have served our country. The University of Central Missouri, along with several local secondary educators, worked to research and create biographies about underrepresented veterans from the Civil War and World War II. Those who attended were separated into 4 groups, and each group was assigned a soldier.
What was really kind of exciting is that when you're out and you're exploring the site, the number of questions that are actually created rather than answered. So it brings that sense of inquiry and wonder. And, you know, if that happens to adults who are teachers, I'm excited about what that could do for our students.
The Fort Scott National Cemetery is open to the public every day from dawn to dusk. Some residents of the Joplin apartment building that burned Wednesday night are now in a temporary shelter. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt. Investigators are trying to determine the cause of that fire that broke out just before 10 on Wednesday night at the North Park Apartments on Joplin's East Newman Road. 6 out of 24 apartments in the complex were damaged. As KOAM's Amber Jenkins reports, fire crews are crediting fire stops for keeping it from spreading.
A fire marshal's office that's very active in codes and ordinances and enforcing codes within the city, and apartment buildings like this one have to have fire stops built into the attic area, which gave us time to get in and get the fire put out before it spread laterally across into the other parts of the building.
With the extra time, thanks to the fire stops, firefighters evacuated 38 occupants out of the 3-story structure. The Joplin Fire Marshal is investigating. A local disaster response team arrived the morning after to start the cleanup process.
28 years, this is one of the worst ones that we've seen. That's no lie. It's a pretty bad one. The apartments on the right side, those are going to be full guts. You can't really save anything, but the ones that didn't get as much smoke damage, we're going to be able to save those units.
The Red Cross set up shelter for residents who were affected.
Being able to get some place to stay. We opened a shelter last night for those who were in need. Being able to have some peace is just things that kind of is going through their mind at this time.
And they're gonna get us a hotel and stuff like that. And they gave us a little bit of funds, to help us out and stuff like that. So if that don't work out, I probably have to go move somewhere else,
Howard received a call from his mother who was in the apartments at the time of the fire, telling him to rush home.
Stressed out in the beginning, because everybody was just drilling, rushing, people running around. It's just very crowded, and people crying because they think that my mom's in a fire. So I had to warn people that everybody was safe and stuff like that, just trying to get everybody comfortable.
His apartment was not damaged by the fire itself, but by the water that came through the walls.
Then I went to my apartment, which is on the left side, and the left side got damaged too, but on my side, I'm in the back side, so it didn't really get too much damage, but water did come through the walls and, got everything wet like that. And then I guess it's starting to come through the ceiling, like the water's still dripping.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
We're still waiting to know the official cause of the fire. Fire officials tell us they're investigating the possibility it was caused by an electrical malfunction. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Fort Scott and Pittsburgh baseball play in the Adam LaRoche tournament. We'll have the details. Plus, a body is recovered on a hiking trail following a powerful earthquake in Taiwan. And we have a nice and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Thunder Friday Nights is sponsored locally by Downstream Casino Resort and Vance Automotive Group.
So yesterday was our second to last Thunder Thursday here on KOAM. The Thunder have just 6 games remaining in their 2023-24 regular season. They're coming off of a 35-point blowout loss to the league-leading Celtics in Boston. OKC was without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams in that one. The Thunder are in 3rd place in the Western Conference, a game behind Denver and Minnesota. Well, tonight is one of your last chances to watch the Thunder on our airwaves. OKC visits the Pacers. Tip-off is scheduled for 6. Pregame on Fox 14 starts at 5:30. Wrestling fans, you can see WWE SmackDown in its entirety following our newscast. Now over to high school softball. Two of the best programs in southeast Kansas in recent years are Colgan and Frontenac. Yesterday, they play a doubleheader. A couple of CNC rivals go head-to-head. Frontenac is hosting Colgan. In the circle for the Raiders is Avery Johnson, and she was on her game. Gets a swing and a miss in the second. Next batter also goes down swinging. Then Johnson finishes off at the inning with another strikeout. She strikes out the first 5 hitters she faces. Bottom of the first, Frontenac leads 1-0. Tenley Sullivan goes to the opposite field for a hit. 2 runs come in to score, and Frontenac leads 3-0. They go to the bottom of the fourth. Raiders lead 6-0. Abby Beemain hits the ball into center field for an RBI single. Frontenac leads 7-0. To the 6th inning, Annie Lee drives the ball to deep right field, and it clears the fence for a solo home run. Frontenac beats Colgan 8-0. We go to game 2 of the doubleheader. Colgan looks to split. Bottom of the first, Raiders lead 1-0. Tenley Sullivan stays hot, and she drives this ball into the gap. 2 runs score, and it's an RBI to Sullivan, and it's 3-0 Frontenac. Later that inning, Bella Asino gets the swing and miss strikeout to end the first. We go ahead to the bottom of the second, where Frontenac leads 7-0. Tenley Sullivan once again, she pops one up, and that's a tough play for the infielder to make. Sullivan picks up another pair of RBIs. Once again, the circle, it's Avery Johnson who continues to get hitters to swing and miss. Next batter is caught looking for the strikeout. Then Johnson finishes off the 14th inning with an easy ground out. Frontenac beats Colgan 14-0 in game 2 as the Raiders complete the sweep of the Panthers. Over in Fort Scott, the 2024 Adam LaRoche Varsity Baseball Tournament began yesterday afternoon. It runs through the weekend into Saturday. First game of the Adam LaRoche Tournament, Blue Valley North taking on Fort Scott. Tigers in an early 3-0 hole. Starting pitcher Dub Chipman with a great pickoff move to get the runner at the second base. Now in the bottom of the third, Fort Scott breaks through at the plate. Rocco Leferedo laces this pitch into left field. That brings in a run. Score is now 3-2. Tigers trail. Next batter, Lennox Zivan. He hits it sharply into the right field. 2 more Tigers come in to score. Fort Scott scores 6 runs in the 3rd inning. Into the 5th, the Tigers keep the line moving. Kanan Brown connects and drives this pitch into left center. Another run comes in. It's 7-3 Tigers. Same inning, Colton Rogers joins the hit parade. He lines into center field for an RBI single. Fort Scott empathetically snaps a losing streak. The Tigers beat Blue Valley North 10-3 and advance to the tournament semifinals. Game number 2 of the afternoon, Pittsburgh baseball takes on Taganoxie. Top of the first inning, runners on first and second. Ground ball hit to the third. Bo Posture gloves it, steps on the base, and throws over the first for the double play. Bottom 1 now, Grant Daugherty lays down a bunt with a runner on to the throw to the first, gets away. The run scores, ties the game at 1, and Daugherty gets to second. Later in the inning, pass ball. Purple Dragons continue to run the bases excellently. O'Her scores to give PHS the lead. 3rd inning now, runners on first and second. Jacob Linhan lines it into left field. He reaches to load the bases. Next batter, Weston Rink hits a bloop into a shallow center field. Quentin Fears comes across the plate. The Purple Dragons win 6-5. They advance to play Fort Scott in the winners bracket semifinals. Well, still to come, we'll see why a relatively new drug to treat ALS is being pulled from the shelves. Plus, a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Crossing Casino brings you the ultimate entertainment experience.
Neosho Arts Council free concert in the park, April 16th.
Well, I hope everyone is having a wonderful morning so far. Taking a look at 7th and Rangeline, we can see a few cars already starting to head on out. It is a clear morning for us, but we do have a frost advisory that started yesterday. We only got up to about 62, but our low was 36. That's the same as our low today. So we do still have that frost advisory in effect until about 8 a.m. Now, if you see over in Wichita, that is also a wind advisory they're having, and we're more than likely going to have a wind advisory moving into tomorrow. We have a pretty windy weekend ahead, but this frost advisory does expire today at 8. Now, we have some clouds in the area, but we're not having any rainfall until tomorrow night. So we have another couple of days that are going to be pretty nice looking. The system that's moving in is still off in California, and we'll be getting just a quick, brief round of showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two Saturday night. Right now across the region, we're still pretty chilly. Jay is 33 degrees, Iola 31, so below freezing. Fort Scott 32, Pittsburgh 33. So we're still right near freezing out there. So we do have that frost advisory due to those low temperatures. And the wind chill values also pretty low, still around the 28-degree range and a little bit lower in the 30s. Now, as we warm up today, we will start to see those wind chills warm up as well. It's not going to be as cool as what we saw yesterday. Starting your day today, it's pretty chilly, 34 degrees, and pretty light winds out of the east, clear as well. We may see a cloud or here too as we go into the afternoon hours, but we do warm up to about 67 degrees today, so upper 60s, maybe even some counties hitting the 70s. Planning for your weekend, it's going to be warm and windy for most of the day on Saturday. We've got clouds rolling in late afternoon, but it's going to get up into the 70s. Storms late on Saturday, giving us another nice day on Sunday, but it still may be breezy. We also have a marginal thunderstorm risk, 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. for those storms that are coming in. Most concern is going to be the winds, and we'll also take a look and see what time you can start to expect that to come in. Right around 11 p.m. is when it makes its way into our area, and like I said, we may see some thunderstorms, but it's not long-lived. 2:30, it will be moving on out of here, and by 6 a.m. it's completely gone on Sunday. So what you can expect today, getting up into the upper 60s. So pretty warm. It's going to be sunny, not windy at all. It's going to feel amazing today. Tomorrow will be windy, but temperatures getting up into the 70s, so it'll be pretty nice. And our overnight low tonight also only getting down to the low 50s. So for the next couple of days, we're going to see really nice, warm, sunny temperatures. And Elise will be back with more news after this.
Dr. Chris Wilcox at Precision Dental in Jay, Oklahoma can do a single tooth implant.
Served great meals since 1955. You name it, and chances are we probably have it. Come see us at Kramer's Meats, 10th and Rangeline in Joplin.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a relatively new drug to treat ALS is being pulled from the shelves. Thursday, Amylyx Pharmaceuticals announced it is voluntary withdrawing Relyvrio from the market. The FDA approved Relyvrio in September 2022. The decision was controversial. At the time, some said there wasn't enough proof it was helpful. A more recent and larger trial showed no evidence Relyvrio worked. The company says patients who are currently on Relyvrio should talk to their doctor. If you're experiencing itchy eyes and congestion, you're not alone. Roughly 1 in 4 American adults are allergic to airborne irritants such as pollen and mold. And unfortunately, that number is rising. Plus, doctors are seeing symptoms get more severe as the season extends longer than ever. A recent study published by the National Institutes of Health found over the last 30 years, pollen seasons have started about 20 days earlier and lasted 8 days longer. There's also been about 20% more pollen produced annually. Scientists say this is likely caused by climate change. It'll be the longest, most visible solar eclipse in more than a century. On April 8th, the moon will block out the sun, but watching this without proper protection can lead to eye damage, even permanent vision loss. Mandy Gaither talks to an ophthalmologist about what you can do right now to keep eyes safe next week.
Remember the total solar eclipse in 2017? Well, the one coming up on April 8th will be longer and the last to be visible from the continental U.S. until the year 2044. Just like the last one, protecting your eyes is critical.
It is not enough just to wear regular old sunglasses for these eclipses.
Ophthalmologist Dr. Nicole Bayich with Cleveland Clinic says looking at a solar eclipse without proper eye protection can lead to solar retinopathy. That's damage to your retina. It can cause blind spots in vision and decreased vision. Depending on the extent of damage, it can be temporary or permanent.
So you need to wear proper eclipse glasses with the solar filter ISO 12312-2.
You'll find that printed on the inside of the eclipse glasses. Unfortunately, there are counterfeit glasses out there. Before buying a pair, NASA recommends checking the American Astronomical Society's list of approved solar viewers, making sure the seller is listed on the website. After buying glasses, check them. There should be no scratches or tears. And if looking at the eclipse through binoculars, a camera, or telescope, a certified solar filter on the front of the instrument is needed to protect eyes.
And it's not enough to just put, eclipse glasses over. And in fact, that's actually dangerous because if you put eclipse glasses over a telescope or, some other device, you can actually burn a hole through the glasses and lead to direct injury.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
It has directions on how to make a pinhole projector on its website. The agency says there's also the indirect viewing method, which does not involve looking directly at the sun. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And after the break, we'll talk more about what you can expect today and this weekend.
And dental care in the region. Quality, compassionate.
Quality, compassionate, affordable care.
Right now at 5:30, Allen Community College in Iola kicked off its annual Aggie Days event.
And with the cool temperatures at or below freezing, we do still have a frost advisory in effect till 8 a.m.
Plus a message for the 4 states on this National Month of Hope.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Morning 4 states and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it's finally Friday here. It's our last day with Lindsay for a while. We've loved having you here and you'll want to make sure to stick with her on the weekends too.
Definitely join us on the weekends. I'll talk more about the storms that we have coming up on Saturday. But right now it's going to be a really gorgeous day. We'll take a look outside and see what you can expect. Temperatures still in the low 30s across the region. We are in a frost advisory until 8 a.m. due to these low temperatures. Some counties still around freezing or below. Iola 31, Fort Scott 32, Nevada 33. So pretty cool start to our morning, and these wind chills also pretty chilly. Now, as we move through the day, temperatures warm up. These wind chills are going to warm up as well. We don't have any fast winds today, so it's going to be a really nice day ahead. We do have a frost advisory still in effect till 8 a.m. and it has expanded to most of our counties in Kansas as well as all of our counties in Missouri. Now, after today, we won't have to deal with this for a while. Temperatures warm up quite a bit today and through the weekend. We may see some clouds here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be another sunny day. Temperatures are going to warm up to the upper 60s, and some counties maybe even hitting the 70s today. Now, as we continue through the weekend, these temperatures are going to continue to be on that warming trend. We'll hit the 70s tomorrow. However, we do have some storms rolling in tomorrow evening, and it's going to be a windy weekend, especially right ahead of those storms. But I'll have more details on the storms in just a bit.
All right, we'll check in with you soon, Lindsay. Well, Freeman Hospital in Neosho, Missouri is providing a life-saving screening to women free of charge. Women can get free mammograms at the hospital today from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The free screenings are provided by the Helping Friends Mammogram Fund, which also provides free screenings every year at the Freeman Women's Center in Joplin. This is the first year it's being provided on the Neosho campus. Allen Community College in Iola yesterday kicked off its annual Aggie Days event. It showcases the school's agriculture program and features plenty of opportunities for learning. The day includes a variety of competitions covering everything from livestock judging to nursery landscaping and more. The event also serves as a possible next step for high school students interested in agriculture.
We've had an ag program here for years, and we do this annually to try to help prepare the high school students for their state contests. So this gives those students in the high schools and 4-H's an opportunity to come on our campus and see our facilities and perhaps maybe come to school here.
Event organizers say the day drew close to 700 students to the campus for agriculture career activities. PSU hosted actor Rainn Wilson, best known as Dwight Schrute in the TV The Office, as part of the H. Lee Scott Speaker Series yesterday evening. The author, producer, and philanthropist spoke about truth, identity, and purpose. He also participated on a panel with more than 15 students.
I'm fortunate because college students tend to love The Office and really respond to Dwight and stuff like that. So, and you know, the things I'm interested in, I feel like a lot of college students can relate to.
It was a sold-out event. More than 1,000 people attended. In his talk, Rainn Wilson also spoke about hope. And April is National Month of Hope, which celebrates the power of the feeling. Some 4-staters know exactly how hope can be encouraging, especially when dealing with life's ups and downs. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has their story.
Hope is what keeps you going every day.
Sharon Clark had to learn the hard way how important it is to cultivate the feeling of hope.
During your cancer journey, you do want to just give up. You just feel terrible and you think, why go through this?
Clark had to deal with the diagnosis and treatment twice. The first one came when she was 27 years old and pregnant. She chose not to give up on herself or her baby.
That tells me a lot about your hope, how you're very hopeful that things were going to work out for you and for your kid.
Yes, there is hope, and in the end it was worth every bad day I had. We only get one shot at life.
Clark started advocating not only for the early detection of cancer with the 4 States Hope for You Breast Cancer Foundation, but also for the feeling carried in the name of the organization where she is the president. Clark is joined by actor Rainn Wilson in the mission of spreading hope. They don't work together, their audience and reach are different, but their message is similar.
Get young people kind of thinking on maybe on a slightly different level, on a little deeper level, and a little inspiration, a little cajoling, a little laughter along the way. It's one of my favorite activities.
Wilson uses his platform to talk about the pursuit of happiness, among many other things.
People are interested in me for Dwight, and that opens doors for me to be able to speak about other stuff that I'm really passionate about, like mental health and spirituality.
A famous person has so many avenues to be a platform for hope.
A feeling that can take people further.
As long as you have hope, I think anything's possible.
Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
To learn more about Hope for You, go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. An American tourist dies in Zambia after an elephant attacks a safari tour. Plus, President Biden said America's support hinges on how Israel handles its war moving forward. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Sachs & Associates, proud partner of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Topping World Watch. An American tourist dies in Zambia after an elephant attacks a safari group. Lindsay Ragas talked to Gail Matton's daughter about her adventurous life and the tragic accident.
She was actually going to turn 80 on July 2nd, and we were planning a big 80th birthday party for her.
Gail Matson's daughter, Rana, described her mother as a strong, healthy woman who enjoyed traveling.
It was kind of like her last bucket list item.
Gail died on Saturday. She was attacked on an African safari in Zambia. Rana says there were 2 drivers on the safari. One of them saw the elephant and detected that the elephant looked aggressive.
The first Jeep was able to get away, but the second Jeep wasn't able to get away, and they got stopped by some vegetation and they just couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Gail was on the trip with a friend also from Arizona. She told Rana what happened.
She told me they rolled over to a tree and they sat there, I believe, for a solid 5 minutes. She said they didn't bat an eye. The elephant was right in front of them, staring them down. She said she thought he was probably going to kill them. But after 5 minutes, she said, I think he got bored and he just wandered off.
It was then when the group realized Gail had died when the Jeep flipped over. Rana says her mom will be known for working hard, traveling, and having a zest for life.
As tragic as this is, she really lived every minute of life and enjoyed it.
A body is recovering on a hiking trail following a powerful earthquake in Taiwan. Rescuers found the body of a 65-year-old man Thursday after a magnitude 7.2 earthquake jolted Hualien County in eastern Taiwan. More than 1,000 people have been injured and at least 9 people were killed, including 4 who died inside the popular Taroko National Park. Search and rescue officials say about 600 people are stuck in a hotel in the mountainous tourist hotspot of Taroko Gorge. Well, in a tense call with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Biden said America's support hinges on how Israel handles its war moving forward. Correspondent Connor Hansen has the story.
On the heels of an Israeli strike that killed 7 aid workers in Gaza, President Biden told Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu he has to take more steps to keep civilians safe. The White House has implied further aid to Israel could depend on it.
Too many civilians have been killed. And if we don't see those changes, well, then we're going to have to make some changes and decisions of our own.
Before the call, Netanyahu spoke to members of Congress, saying they are close to victory and that America's security depends on it too.
This is a battle between not only Israel and Hamas, but I would say the terror axis of Iran that seeks to put the Middle East back into the dark ages.
In public statements, Israeli officials are shifting the focus to Iran and not just its war with Hamas. Iran vowed revenge against Israel after a recent airstrike killed top Iranian officials in Syria.
Because if we don't eradicate Hamas, imagine what our enemies in Tehran, in Lebanon, in Syria, they would come against us. So that's why we are so determined to win this war.
While many in Congress are supporting Biden's hardened stance on Israel, others are doubling down on their support. Senator John Fetterman posted on social media, quote, "No conditions for Israel."
I think we've made our support loud and clear and on the record.
President Biden also called for a ceasefire and urged Netanyahu to wrap up hostage negotiations. The U.S. is still making it clear it supports Israel.
Now to look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Lindsay's next with a complete look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Deep forest, majestic mountains, glittering waters. America the Beautiful is waiting to be discovered.
Claim against the fund, make sure they understand the ins and outs of that entity and when it has responsibility and when it doesn't.
Good morning, everyone. I've seen quite a few cars out there already. We've got some early birds out and about. Now, yesterday was pretty cool. We started off about 36 degrees and we had a frost advisory as well, but we only warmed up to the low 60s. We will warm up a lot more today, luckily, but we still do have a frost advisory, and that expires today at 8 a.m. So after that, we'll be continuously warm in the mornings. We won't have any more of these near freezing temperatures to deal with. Now, we don't have any rain on the forecast today, but we may see some clouds here or there. Other than that, it's going to be a really gorgeous day ahead, and that continues tomorrow. Winds do pick up, But we have some storms coming in, mostly just rain, but you could expect a thunderstorm or two. Right now, still off in California. It'll be making its way into our area after 7 to 11 p.m. On Saturday. So temperatures around the region, like I said, near 30 in Fort Scott, Nevada 32, Chanute 39, Grove 34. So we're still in the 30s this morning, pretty cold. Typical spring weather though, because we will warm up quite a bit. With those wind chills lower as in the morning time, as we warm up, they will start to warm up as well. And we're not going to have that cool wind chill like we did yesterday. We're going to match the temperature that we're going to see. And starting off your day, it's going to be about 34 degrees, but pretty light winds. And continuing on to tonight, we get up to the upper 60s. So 67 is our high for Joplin. And still, winds pretty light, maybe a little bit faster than this morning, about 5 to 10 miles per hour, but still going to be pretty nice. And this evening, that streak continues. We'll only drop down to the lower 50s for our overnight low, and clouds may roll in tonight, giving us some clouds tomorrow ahead of the storms that we have coming in tomorrow night. But for the day, it's going to be warm and windy, up to 74 for our high. Then those storms come in pretty late, around 11 p.m. They'll continue in the overnight hours, but it'll clear out by Sunday morning, and we're going to have a really nice Sunday, sunny and in the 70s, and we may still have some winds as well. We're going to take a closer look and see what you can expect tomorrow for those storms. About 11 p.m., that's when they start to make their way in, and you can see there's some spots where we may see some thunderstorms, nothing too severe. They'll be passing by our area around 2:30 a.m. and then completely out of our region by 6 a.m. So it's not a long-lived system. It will be pretty short-lived in the overnight hours. We may have some thunderstorms, may wake you up, but other than that, nothing too severe. So today you can expect temperatures getting up into the upper 60s. It'll be sunny all day long, may see some clouds moving in the afternoon hours, and our overnight low down to the low 50s. Nothing too cool about that. And on Saturday, getting up to the mid 70s. It'll be windy, and we may see some clouds more coming in ahead of that storm that'll be in for the overnight hours on Saturday. But after that, we're going to have a nice couple of days. Maybe a cloudy Monday for you, though, for that solar eclipse, but we'll keep you updated. And Elise is back with more news after this.
You'll shop brands like Sealy and Temper and Purple too. 4 years no interest, ship free to you. Denver Mattress.
A beloved tortoise in Louisiana named Boot is now back home with its owners. Boot escaped his enclosure last month. Fallon Brown reports on Boot's wild adventure before he was finally located.
You know the old wise tale, the tortoise and the hare, where they say slow and steady wins the race. But for this 6-year-old sulcata tortoise, Boot, he's anything but slow. They're faster than you think. And so he was already gone.
Meet Colleen Swallow. She's got 64 chickens, 7 tortoises, 3 dogs, and 1 son. It's a lot to keep up with.
This big guy is Boot.
On the afternoon of March 22nd, her son and husband took Boot, the tortoise, out for a stroll around the farm.
And then, of course, they got distracted and went inside and forgot that they had left Boot out of the enclosure, and we ran back out as soon as he realized.
But it was too late. The tortoise had fled the property, and the days-long search for Boot ensued, with no such luck.
We live on 10 acres, and we're surrounded by woods, so there was no real way to know which direction he went.
First, she went to Facebook with a post that drew a good bit of attention from people thinking they found him.
One person had found a tortoise, but they were in Maurepas, which was clearly too far away.
Growing more desperate by the day, Swallow tried everything. She went door to door with flyers, used a scent tracking dog, even hired a drone pilot who specializes in animal recovery to map out the area.
We found all kind of wildlife, but didn't find Boot.
It wasn't until Easter Sunday when Swallow's neighbor made a shell-shocking discovery. A large sulcata tortoise drinking from her dog's water bowl on the porch.
9 days missing, about a half a mile away. We were very fortunate that we got our tortoise back. Now Boot is back home with his siblings Scoot and Boogie, here eating rose petals, living their best life after a long adventure.
Everyone is glad that Boot returned home safely. We'll be right back.
Downstream Casino Resort is proud to partner with KOAM News Now by sponsoring
It's theme featuring Nellie Dawn the musical and 2 short films. Tickets are only $10, so go online and get yours now.
Disney is revealing some new details about its $60 billion expansion. A Walt Disney World site official says the project will include a new 14-acre area within the Magic Kingdom. It's going to be called the largest expansion ever for the park. He didn't announce any themes, designs, or when it will open. Disney's $60 billion expansion also includes projects in other parks and cruises over the next decade. Disney's plans to come as competitor Universal Orlando Resort prepares to open a 3rd theme park next year. We'll toss the dough, shred the cheese, and preheat the oven, or just go to your local Chicago-style pizzeria because Friday is National Deep Dish Day. It's observed every year on April 5th. This hearty variation of the classic pizza pie is a sure way to fill up and make sure your stomach is happy. That's because the thick crust holds a boatload of sauce and topping. So however you do it, treat yourself to a yummy slice of deep dish deliciousness this Friday.
And we start off the morning with a frost advisory in effect until 8 a.m. Luckily, we warm up pretty nicely today up into the upper 60s, maybe even some counties hitting the 70s. Not going to be windy, and it's going to be sunny all day long, so a nice Friday for us and a nice evening ahead with the temperatures only dropping down to the lower 50s. Tomorrow also looking pretty nice for most of the day. We've got temperatures hitting the 70s. However, it's going to be windy. Clouds do roll in early afternoon, and then we've got some thunderstorms popping up in the overnight hours starting after 11 p.m., but completely clearing out by 6 a.m. on Sunday. Another breezy day on Sunday, but temperatures still in the 70s, so it'll be a nice Sunday for us. Monday is the day of the solar eclipse for our area. We'll start to see it around 1:30 to 1:45. Clouds are rolling in, especially in the area for the path of totality. In our region, we do see clouds starting to increase continually as we get closer to the event, but we will keep you updated on if those clouds are going to stick around for the event or if you'll be able to see the solar eclipse.
In 3 days, come to the Creative Learning Alliance Celebration Eclipse Viewing Party.